So here we have cultural DNA, very diverse panel here. So Kit, I'm gonna begin with you because you're in the minority here. But you came into the family business, right? You started by your father, Kun Narong, and who built the Trisara. So you were an investment banker before. I'm just going to share a little bit of history. Even though he looks really young, he's been through several crises. So he's been through the hamburger crisis. He's been through the Tom Yum Goong crisis. He's been through the tsunami crisis and then COVID. So tell me, how has the pandemic, the last one, changed Montara Hospitality's vision of where it's going? Is it still the same as what your dad started?
I think we're still very much aligned, and thank you, Hoon, for having me. So I think we talk a lot about the human element, and I think actually to falter, to struggle is human, and I think what we learn and what we do when we struggle, that becomes part of who we are. So I think the pandemic, like for many people in this room, was a big reset, and for Montara, it was also an opportunity. We saw it as an opportunity to rediscover what it was that made us resilient. It was also an opportunity to try to repurpose the strength that we believe we had for a new opportunity. And we saw it as a chance to regenerate, look at a new way that we should look at hospitality in the future. At Trisara, we found that when international travel became impossible, it was the culture, actually, of our people that kept us going. We had a culture called the Proud Family, and this actually allowed us to continue to not just service guests, but innovate. Our restaurant there actually won the first Green Star from the Michelin Guide in Phuket during COVID. And F&B eventually during COVID was the thing that allowed us to cover costs, to break even, purely relying on domestic.
Right. So culture was the rock.
Yes.
And started with your dad, you took it on and solidified it and became much more resilient. So Kerry, thank you for being with us on the panel while you prepare to fly to Dubai. So you've gone from no business to full-on business, Accor, business, even without the full return of China, right? And now you're going to be responsible for 1,001 hotels. So
I love that you didn't forget the one.
Very important, that one, right? Okay, so how are you going to, wrap your arms around this 1,001 hotels and rethinking of the distribution and sales for this group?
Was you and I had an earlier conversation right there, so I think my line to you is with great elasticity. But it's always through people, right? And it's about where we put our people and connecting that very large geography, which is 40 countries, through the teams and where we place them. I think the focus on reforming our business is brand, right? So brand, and I think it was Omri who talked about price this morning. So a relentless focus on our price and the distribution of our price, the right channels, the right time, and with the right coherence. And also just more efficient operational practices, a huge focus on revenue management. But can I just go back to one of the questions, because I want to piggyback on what Kit said, because it was, what did you learn about the pandemic, which I think was one of the first questions. And so I had a quote, which was, people don't travel to escape life, but for life not to escape them. So because I'm not here for the great debate tomorrow, I'm also going to put my vote in now for just the importance of people. And so to your point, we have a culture, it's called Heartist, and it's the Heartist way. And it struck me just how resilient people are and how people were through the pandemic. And just that, I think it went back to their roots of what it meant to be in a service environment. And I think that was really quite remarkable to see the culture of people, the resilience, the grit, the determination, just going back to do what people are meant to do in the hospitality field, which is to take care of each other, to take care of people, which talks to your opening earlier around love, passion for travel, food, experience, culture. And that's what's going to keep people in the game.
Yeah, so really in many ways, the pandemic really put the spotlight on people and heart and togetherness, which is why we have the theme of the human revolution, because we felt that the pandemic just basically was the beginning of it, and now we must not forget it as we go back to good times and people come back, right? So I'm going to go for Doris now. And what's your thinking about that? I mean, you've gone from you work in luxury brands all your life, and now Mandarin Oriental, Alila, Hyatt, and now Como, which is family owned as well, right? So 18 properties. I got that number right?
Yes.
How has your customers changed? How has your luxury customers changed? Are they looking for more human touch or?
Thank you so much. Thanks for the question. Thanks for having me here. Well, as you know, Como has been always a very shy brand, and you rarely see us coming up to the podium. I'm doing it for Siew. But really,
they're all going to influence the vote at the debate tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah, but really, I think today our customers are all travelers. You're more aligned. You're more self-serving, and also you're more learned, more educated, and you read about so many things. And I think there are right now so many things to choose. I mean, so many types of hotels, so many brands, So I think we do not now, I mean, especially for small brands like us, we do not cater to the world, but we play to one audience, and it's the people who understands and who likes us. And the way I see it change is that people are going back more to basics. We have, I'm very happy to say, a very high percentage of repeater guests, that keeps coming back because they find the familiar. And for me, like students say, having come from so many brands, one distinct thing that I found about Como is that it's like coming home. And that's the thing that I found out, because I find that to stay at a Como hotel, you're not, you can there's a space for your own personality, and there's a space for you to grow, your interests as well. And I think sometimes we forget that. As we are building our careers as road warriors, we want to stay in big brands. We want to experience, what it's meant by luxury, what luxury can buy, what money can buy. But today, I think luxury really is about the inaccessible things. It's the thing that's rare. And I think that's where the opportunity comes for boutique brands like us, because then we play to one audience, and we want to ensure that our guests keep coming back. And that is going inward. And this is something which AI can help you, because it's about understanding.
We had to bring in AI. Can everybody hear Doris? You can, okay, because you sounded just a bit soft. So let's cut to the chase now, and we've talked about people and how important culture is and all that. So now let's talk about distribution mix, right? Has your distribution mix changed a lot since COVID versus direct versus third party? Has there been a shift towards more direct?
Yeah, definitely. During COVID, at some point, we saw 100% of the bookings coming through online direct.
Okay.
I think partly that had to do with the government subsidy being redeemable online.
And do you see that continuing over the next 5 years?
Even after COVID, I think the increase in the multi-generation travelers booking larger accommodations, residential villas, I think they want more personalization before they book. And so we see this as a trend that will continue to grow.
Okay.
And I think with future emerging segments like wellness travelers, this will become a bigger and bigger part of the booking.
Okay. Kerry?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Definitely a trend for direct, but also through our third parties. It's the online channels surpassing all previous levels, way above 2019, and the balance in our favour at the moment. Although I guess the flows are still evolving and growing, so it'll be an interesting space to watch. But I think you showed some Focusrite stats, so I think we've got some space to grow for the region.
Yeah, and one of the things that you're doing, Kerry, is you're also rationalising the partners that you're going to work with next year, right? So talk to us about that, and how are you going to choose the partners you want to work with and those that you don't want to work with?
I'm not sure we were meant to speak about that, but okay. It's been out there now. I'm sure it's not a huge secret. We wouldn't be the first company to look at rationalisation of what we're going to do. And I think that's very much talking to my point of really being focused on price. Where is our price? Is it the right price? Are we able to push to the customer at the right time? We're investing, like many companies, a lot in AI, in our ability to personalise how we talk to our customers. When we talk to the customers, we'll be revolutionising what we do in the revenue management space as well. And part of that is being able to know that you are pushing the right price to the right customer on the right channel in the right language, etc., etc. So I mean, we will work with responsible partners. I think is the best way to say that.
How many do you have now, and how many will you have?
We really need to talk before these sessions. Actually, I don't know the number, to be perfectly honest.
Right.
We were already quite rationalised in the B2C space, but in the B2B space, we've got a handful of, well, depends on which part of the world you're in, but we will define a number and we'll communicate it. Okay. And I think a lot of the customers in this room have had conversations with various Accor team members, so we need a couple of more months to decide that.
All right, okay. And Doris, how has your distribution mix changed? Much more direct?
Yes, because all the time, like I said, we are pretty grateful. We have a lot of a good percentage of direct business. But on the other hand, I also find that through the pandemic, some of the lessons we learned is how to work better with our partners, and how we can really score, especially when you go into markets that you have no presence, and this is where you use your third-party partners, and they've done very well for us that as well.
Okay, so I hate to have to bring up, we got to talk about AI, right? Because I stayed at Trisara a few months ago, and Kit was all like so excited about it because he was using AI to sort of do innovation, product innovation, ideas generation. And you basically said that the hospitality business is about innovation. You are creating a product ahead of its time, whether it be accommodation or food, and therefore AI is really helping you chart even further. So tell us one example of how you're using that.
Sure, Siew Hoon. I think that during the pandemic, the travel industry in Thailand lost almost half of the people. And now in Phuket, with the resurgence of travelers, we have to use fewer of our people to service more customers and also to innovate a new product and services to remain competitive. So for example, this year in November, we're relaunching all outlets, F&B, 5 of them at the resort. And AI has been a tool that allows us to basically start from 80% and then use people to then complete that 20% of what would really make a difference.
So 80% inspiration from AI and
Exactly.
then 20% for the completion of the concept.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Doris, no, Kerry, you wanted to say something just now.
I mean, I think we heard from better people to talk about AI than certainly myself, but I think it's the big areas, right, for us. Certainly everything to do with personalisation, our own digital assistant on for our customers when booking on our own channels, so that what else can we do with a virtual assistant? How do we reduce the cost of operating our platforms and our loyalty program? The support services, the reduction of those repetitive tasks, and of course taking that into the hotel lens as well, and making sure, because it's a difficult industry depending on which country to attract talent to actually come in, the humans. How can we make the balance of what they're going to be doing more enjoyable and more leaning into that customer experience and delivering on the brand promise and just spending more time being human, connecting with them, and to your point that you love writing about, and having that local experience. And so maybe in the future, if I'm traveling to a country and I want to have the experience of chatting but I don't speak the language, and we're also going to have far easier translation in mobile apps, devices to help that conversation so you don't miss out. And probably just huge amounts of focus on how does sort of big data and mining of that help us sort of scale revenue services.
So AI will basically, we're saying like it will be like the oxygen that goes everywhere actually. So, it will be part of everything that we do. And yesterday we had a global travel tech think tank where it was all about the possibilities of what AI could do, right? One of the points raised was about talent. Like how could we really sort of transform talent in our industry, how the hotel industry needs to do a better job of making it sexier for young people to come in instead of, the old fuddy-duddy kind of image, right? So how are you thinking about bringing in new people, and saying all these things that you're doing, which is pretty cool, but we have students here. They probably don't know that you're doing all this. Doris, have you thought about that?
Gosh, that's a tough question. Yeah, but the thing is, hotel industry at the end of the day is about people. And I always tell the young people who are coming in, I mean, if you don't like people, if you don't know how to, if you don't like to engage people, you're in the wrong trade. Because at the end of the day, it's people. And AI, whatever you say, yes, it can help us in sort of shortening the process and all that, but nothing like people. And I've got so many examples to share, I mean, go into a hotel, if everything is so tech-enabled, it becomes so cold, you don't even see a human being around, And that's where, like, when we, some of you know, we just opened our new Singapore hotel, Como Metropolitan Singapore, Como coming home to his home country. And we were trying to see how we can innovate the brand, how we can embrace technology and bring in something that people would never think Como would have gone that way. And so, so we decided on tech-enabled hospitality, but ensuring that we still have people to interact, with our guests. Because I think a lot of the guests, they are so used to machines, and I think it would be such a refreshing take when you see a human.
Yeah, but sometimes it's easier to deal with machines, actually. So for some cases. So let's talk about the 5 trends in hospitality, right? So there was a recent WATG survey that highlighted these 5 trends in hospitality, right? So luxury brand collaborations embrace experience. Private member clubs target the daycation sector. Yesterday at the boot camp, we had Amy Reed from Techsembly talking about the growth in daycations, branded ecosystems expand guest experiences, hotels venturing into adjacent, which is what Como does really well, and then scale-up accommodation and innovative amenities redefine expectations. Which one are you most excited about?
I'm really excited by the branded ecosystems. I think during COVID, all the hotels had to expand into adjacent products and services. There were hotel-branded food delivery services, hotel-branded housekeeping services. It's basically what we had to do to survive. But now, looking forward, it's actually also what we can do to thrive. For example, for us, with the new wellness community development, we're looking at not just a wellness resort, but also residential community, and also a wetland nature reserve that will be open to public as well. And I think that having a more holistic ecosystem-based approach to development can allow it to be both more resilient and also more sustainable. It can be a situation where at the wellness community, for example, the health of the people who live there or the wellness resort guests is tied to the health of the environment and also tied to the knowledge and the quality of the people who work there.
Right. And you also then have residents as well, right? Yes. I mean, I bet that's going gangbusters right now. Your villa sales are sold out already, apparently, right? Yeah. So basically going into the whole experience, nature reserve, wellness, everything. Wow. Okay, what about you, Doris? What are you most excited about?
Actually, I'm very excited about what Kun Kit have said that as well. But
you have to say luxury.
That, I suppose I would say luxury brand collaborations because, as actually Como is more than just a hotel. I mean, we have got a whole lifestyle ecosystem that's not been tapped. Everything is actually in silos. So the Como group actually brings in, lifestyle, which is food and beverage, which a lot of people didn't know about, fashion, which is Club 21, and wellness, which is Como Shambhala, and also we are into supernatural and glow, which are our very health-focused markets, like Kulina, etc., and of course hospitality, which has come home to roost.
Okay.
So,
Kerry?
I'm sorry to be boring. It's like going to a restaurant and all choosing the same meal, but branded ecosystems as well. And I think that's because, one, we're doing a lot in that space and really rethinking how you build that collaboration, like marketing the brand, which is really the hotel and the residents, the food and beverage, the lifestyle elements to it. And that's really about bringing together that community. And it's not really a new thing for us because Sebastian's talked a lot about Accor being relevant to local communities and how hotels need to rethink how they rebuild just a normal hotel, right, to be far more relevant to your local community. And that was never more true in the pandemic. So this one for me. Sorry, I can't say one of the others is my top vote.
It's interesting to see the blurring of lines, actually. I had a fantastic interview with Bill Bensley, right, the fantastic design. And he started his life as a landscape artist, and then he went into architecture, and then now he's doing design and lifestyle. And then zoos, apparently, now are also being designed by landscape artists versus, from a pure zoo experience. So the lines are kind of blurring. As a customer, everybody, as a customer, I am most excited by innovative amenities. What do you think? I would like my amenities to change in the hotel a little bit, right? Rather than, which ones are you most excited about? Just shout the number. Is it 1? Yes. 1. Is it 2? No. 3? Yeah. Yes? Okay. 4? Okay, I should have put this in the poll. Sorry. We'll come back to you on that one. All right. Okay, so now let's talk about Como, actually. Interesting. We want to talk about your space camp, because you talk about collaboration, right? And I'm a sci-fi geek, and you've been running this space camp program in Bali. I think we have like a short reel from Instagram, Bali, Phuket, Maldives, and it was led by astronauts. So what was the take-up, and what is Como's final destination objective for these camps?
Well, actually, that was my pet project. When I joined Como in 2021, and at that time, I was thinking, this is such a cool brand, but how can we levitate it? How can we build upon what we do? And then when I was presented with the opportunity to host and to actually sponsor the 50th anniversary of Apollo 16 in London, I decided to jump on it. And of course, everybody thought I was crazy, but I managed to get ownership's approval, because I tell you, this is something that I would never be able to do it in my past life. No. And I always believe that in life you have to give before you can receive. And by getting into that, we became a platinum sponsor of this Space for a Better World. And when you look at space, you always think about Omega, because Omega has been there. They're always the top, For once, a hospitality group, and a hotel to do that. And then we had this phenomenal group of astronauts, And I know it's not going to be a one-hit wonder, because I want something back in return. And I feel that, look, how can we empower and inspire people? Now, I know that Siew asked me, she said that, Doris, how many takers, how much do you get? You see, that's the problem, because in my past life, they will always want you to justify before you think about a project, right? And I think that this is my chance, because I can really do something and bring an experience to my guests that people can really bond with their kids and think about, because it's something that you never get accessibility to. So today I can say that Como actually hosts the most accessible space camp with NASA astronauts, and we did that. We did that in 2022 with our first space camp. So we sponsored the event in 2021, we hosted our first space camp in 2022, and guess what? It's not a package, but it is to surprise guests when you come to Como Malefushi in Maldives. Your kids can join in this space program. So we have a 2-week space program on every day. It's scheduled. Together with NASA astronaut Nico Stott. She's wonderful, and together with Christina Kopp, who is the founder of Space for a Better World. And we do this, but most importantly, we did it for the children of the community.
Yeah, I've seen the videos, and they look really fun. I actually have a reel that's which I cut for them. But fantastic initiative, I think, opening up new audience, opening up a new world for kids. So it's fantastic. And I want to come back to some really sort of down-to-earth topic right now, which is about customer acquisition, and then what you're doing, which is pretty cool, right? But at the same time, you have to deliver commerce. Yes. So first thing is, we've heard, I think Chris Hamilton was talking about how right now there's an opportunity to disrupt how how people search or get inspired by travel, right? So we've gone from search to videos to now search by vibe. Are you seeing that, Kerry, in customer acquisition?
Definitely, and we just have to play with more partners to remain relevant in that inspirational stage. I think we did some work with Sojourn during the pandemic, which was really helpful for the hotels and giving more visibility. But, you know, we have a lot of partners in this room, you know, whether it's what we're doing on TikTok, you know, whether we need to start looking into other channels, Snapchat maybe one day, just talking to my son. But, you know, and then of course all the normal channels. But yeah, it's constantly evolving that space, and you have to keep thinking about which new partners, which new tech players to bring into different points along that journey.
Right. What about for you, Kit?
Yeah, I think I cannot speak as expertly as Kerry on this, but I think something that we also notice is that we can use the resort experience itself as an acquisition point for example, our residential villas. And I think that hospitality now really has a great opportunity to not just focus on the rooms product, but all of the ancillary and including even higher value product and services.
Okay, so I'm going to end with a human test since we've been talking about humans here, right? So Doris, I'm going to put you on the spot because you run space camps. So if you were to meet an alien, I'm going to ask my favorite question. What would you tell them about the human story?
Gosh, I wonder, do you know us well enough?
Oh, nice.
Okay, all right. Kit, what quality do you admire most about your father?
Aspiration.
Aspiration? Okay. Kerry, you've taken a bigger role. What quality would you like to work on other than elasticity?
I think Gaurav mentioned it before, but patience, and my team's all there, they'll all nod.
All right. Doris, what makes you cry?
Oh my God. Unfairness, injustice. Yeah.
All right. Kerry, what makes you laugh?
Most things, actually. Spending time with good friends, you know, jokes between friends.
All right. So, Kit, you seem like a very calm Zen person. He's big in meditation. We had lots of conversations about that during the pandemic. I think Kit actually helped me calm myself. So, but what makes you scared? Anything that makes you anxious, nervous, paranoid?
As a father, unreality, not being able to, being worried that in the future it would be difficult to tell what's real and what's not for my kids.
Oh, wow. Please join me in thanking Doris, Kerry, and Kit. Thank you so much.